Alright, in this tutorial series we will be creating these 4 beautiful mugs on Blender. Now we will do this in 3 parts. Part 1 modeling, Part 2 texturing, Part 3 lighting and renders. Part 1 modeling. Hey everyone, so welcome back. I have Blender open here, Blender 3.0. Now by default this is how it's gonna look. So now I need to change my preferences so that you guys can also follow along. Now all the keys will be shown to the bottom right so that you need not be afraid on as to what shortcuts I used. Now go to edit, go to preferences, go to key map. I usually select with my right mouse button, so you can, if it's left, you can click on right if you want to follow up easily. Now a spacebar button is used to search for options. So once you have made the changes, you can just save preferences over here. So close that. So that's done. By default, you have a light, you have a camera, and you have a cube. So all those will be over here. I'm going to turn off the camera and light for the time being, and I'm going to just delete the cube. All right. So by default, you won't have these 4 objects or the collections. I have them over here so that I can show you guys what we are going to build in this demo. So if I just turn on this one, the material viewport shading, you can see these are the 4 mugs that I created in my trial run before recording this entire recording. So we're going to try building all these 4 mugs, and I'll use one of them as a comparison model so that by comparing we may find it way more easier to comprehend why we are doing certain things. So I'm going to turn off everything back. I'm going to turn this one off, this and this one off. So we are going to compare with this one and we are going to build. So just let's shift back to viewport shading. So by default, we will have a cube. We deleted the cube. The cursor is at the world origin. In case by default you selected somewhere, you clicked somewhere and the cursor moved there, click on Shift S and bring cursor to world origins. All right, so that's done. Now to move the entire grid, hold down the Shift key and your middle scroll button. To zoom in and out, use the scroll button. All right. Now Shift A, add menu will be open. Go to mesh. Now let's create a cylinder. All right. So the moment you create something, you will get these options over here. So I have set the number of vertices to 64. You can do the same. You can alter with the radius. You can play with that. You can get the additional properties from the object properties over here. You can select over here. Cool. All right. So Shift S, cursor to world origin. Now I have my mug over here, and this is the cylinder I have with me. Click on G, click on Z so that I can move it along the Z axis. If you click G alone, you will be able to move it anywhere you prefer. So Control Z. Now I'm going to decrease the size, the entire size of the cylinder. So click on S and then just bring it down. Click on G, click on Z, and then I'm going to bring it down over here so that it's almost, almost the same height. All right, so that's done. Now to make all these curves and the hollow space, what we are going to have to do is we are going to have to shift to the edit mode, which is up here. You can select edit mode from here, or you can just click on tab button and then you will move to the edit mode. Now by default in edit mode, you have 3 options to select from. A vertex select so that you will have the vertices highlighted, or the edge select to select the edges, and the face select to select the faces. Or you could just type 1 for vertex select and 2 for the edge select and 3. So it's just the shortcuts. Now let's go to the edge select. Now when you're selecting the edges, let's click on the tilde button, the button beneath the escape key, go to the front view. If you just select in this way, you click and drag, you will hope to be able to select the entire thing, but not. As you can see, this side of the viewport is not selected. So tilde key, front view. You could do one thing, you can click on Z and go to wireframe and select again. And this way the entire thing gets selected. Control Z. Let's click on Z, go to solid view and tilde button, front view. All right. The another solution is select a particular edge. Let's say this one, and hold down the Alt key and select again. So you will select the entire loop again. All right. Cool. Now tilde button, front view. All right. So what we want to do first is we are going to just increase the size along widthwise. All right. So I'm just going to click on S and I'm just going to drag it out over here. All right. Now we need a few more additional loop cuts to bring this curves. So I'm just going to control Z over here. All right, tilde, front view, select any one of the edges, Control R, and you will have this yellow highlighted loop. Use a scroll button and then you can have as many loops as you prefer. I'm going to go with 5. Once done with that, just click with your left mouse button and you can drag it into place. Click again and yes, it's settled. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing again. Hold on the Alt key once selected and then click on the S key and then you can, increase or decrease the size. The key thing which I want to point out here is that Control Z. If I use the proportional editing tool, it's way more easier. So if I click on S again, I can increase the amount by which the sections need to get affected. So just by using my scroll button, I'm able to, do this. See? All right. So front view, I'm just going to decrease the size. Sorry, I'm going to remove the proportional editing now for the time being. I want to select the entire thing. So I shifted to object mode and I'm just going to decrease the size. All right. All right, now I need to increase it lengthwise. So click on, remember we're in the object mode. Click on S, click on Z so that I can increase it lengthwise. All right, it's looking fine. A little curve would be appreciated, but let's just see. Go to tab view. Sorry, let's go to the edit mode, clicking tab, and I'm going to try it again. I'm going to go to tilde, front view, have the top loop selected, have the proportional editing turned on S, and I'm just going to drag it over here. All right, so I'm going to turn off the proportional editing, tilde, front view, select an edge, the entire bottom S, and I'm just going to bring it down like this. All right, so that section is done. Now, as you can see, we have several segments on this one. Before we smoothen it out, we need to create this hollow space. So go back to the edit mode. I'll be alternating between the object and the edit mode in between. So go to this face select option and then select the face. Now click on I to create an inset. Just drag your mouse once you have did the inset and Control Z, just scroll down I and then just drag the mouse to create an inset. Make sure you have sufficient width. Now once the inset is done, click on E and then you can extrude it all the way down. But I just extruded a little bit too much. So Control Z, click on E and drag all the way down. All right, so I have this hollow space over here. You can shift back to the object mode to see what you have just built. All right, now as you can see, it's taking shape. The next thing that we need to do is we need to smoothen it out. Like as you can see this one, you need to smoothen this one out. For that, what we are going to do is we are going to we are going to add a modifier. So go to modifier properties, have the object selected, click on add modifier, go to subdivision surface. Now it's deformed a little, but need not worry. Increase the levels or the viewport in the given modifier. So increase the viewport to, let's say 5. All right. Now the inside is a bit off. Need not worry about that either. So go to the tab, edit mode, and you can see the loops, right? The vertex and segments. What we need to do is we need to create a sort of loop cut inside and drag it all the way down. So that will make sure the inside is also perfectly circular. And yeah, so select on the inside using the edge select and Control R creates a loop, click and then drag all the way down and you can see how it's making the changes. Once it reaches the bottom, just click again, but do not click anywhere outside because at this point the loop cut is still selected. So if I go to the wireframe option, you can see the loop cut is still selected. So go to solid view. What we are going to do is we are going to create bevel. So Control B, and then when you drag, you can see these sorts of bevels are being created. All right. Now you can increase the number of bevels using scrolling the mouse. You can increase the number of bevels. All right, just click it there and that's done. So if when we shift to object mode, you can see it's looking much better. Now we need to do the same on the outside. All right, so go to edit mode. Click over here because we need a loop cut over here. Control R, click and drag it all the way. Maybe not all the way down, maybe to this extent. All right, and what we could do is we could just select this loop cut and Control B, and then try to create a bevel. Not too much. I mean, there might be severe lag in my device because with the screen being recorded and the audio being recorded and Blender running simultaneously, it's causing a serious issue. Alright, I'm going to increase the bevel cuts just by scrolling the mouse. Okay, cool. So that's done. Alright, so that's how you get this sort of beautiful shape. Now you can play with it along a few more times and then come up with the best shape you prefer. Now as you can see, the edge or the rim of the mug is not smooth yet. It needs to be a little thick or widthwise, right? So go to the edit mode. What we're going to do is we're going to create a loop cut inside. Control R, click and drag it all the way to the top. Maybe not all the way to the top, maybe slightly beneath, so that we have a slight inclination towards inside. Alright, tab and go to the object mode. As you can see, it's taking shape. Maybe we prefer to have it a little more widthwise. So Control Z, tab, edit mode, and okay, when I Control Z, I selected the loop cut by mistake. So you can select it again and then click on G, click on Z to move it along the Z axis. Alright, now go to the object mode. It's taking shape. We can do the same with the outside so that we have a strong outer edge. So tab, edit mode, click here, Control R, loop cut, and I'm going to bring it to the top. Alright, so you have a strong edge on the top. Yeah, so that's how we create the mugs model. I know this is it's slightly off along the curves. We can play along and we can try working it out, but it's totally up to you. I'm not sure how much I can keep my laptop overheating, so I'm just gonna move to the next step. Alright, so in the next two parts, we will see how to do the texturing, lighting and renders.